Fright Night. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep calling it Fright Night Radio. How y'all doing this evening? Got this
Good.
Fright Night thing on my brain. But it's Fright Night Radio. And tonight we're going to be talking about another awesome vampire movie called The Lost Boys. Now, there's a small history to this. It's very funny. I'm going to tell you about it in a minute. But, Rodney, I'm going to let you start off this time and tell a little bit about this movie, if you remember anything.
Okay, let's see. About this his mom and her two kids who go to this California town to stay with her father, and it turns out the town's filled with vampires. The mother gets a job at a video store, and the head of the video store happens to be the lead vampire.
But you know who was originally supposed to direct this before Joe Schumacher took it over?
Who?
It was supposed to be Richard Donner, who did The Goonies.
Oh, wow.
And it was originally supposed to be a Peter Pan movie. You know, Lost Boys.
Oh, wow. No, please. That would have ruined it.
It actually has some elements of the Lost Boys from Peter Pan.
Like the flying scenes and so forth.
Yeah. And they're flying and everything else. It's pretty crazy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the twisted version of itself.
Yeah.
And they originally, the bad guy was supposed to be played by the guy who was going to play Jerry Dandridge in Fright Night.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine if that had been like a prequel or something? Or like he gets away, though, or escapes somehow?
Yeah.
Movie, you know? And goes to another town, you know? Only to be destroyed by someone else. I mean,
that would be funny.
Typecasted.
But this movie, in my opinion, is probably one of the best vampire movies out there, period. Might even almost be better than Fright Night in some ways. You know what I mean?
I would say so.
And this movie surely gives a better vampire movie than that Twilight.
Yeah, and John Carpenter's Vampire 2, that was another crappy one.
Well, that was still better than Twilight. Anything's better than Twilight.
Twilight was stupid.
If you want a film that's like Twilight but better than Twilight, there's a vampire film called Near Dark, which has a similar plot structure. Boy, say a male vampire, vice versa.
But hey, Near Dark was a whole lot better than Twilight. You know?
Yeah.
To me, that's an insult to even put that movie next to Twilight.
I can't even believe you brought Twilight up. That was the worst vampire movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, yeah. And what's funny is the writer of that book said that her vampire movies were the only vampire movies. The rest of them were copying her book and movies. And I'm like, excuse me, Lost Boys was around long before your book.
Her movie, yeah, crazy.
And she was bashing Stephen King, saying Stephen King really wasn't a real serious writer or something. I don't know. It was a big fight for a long time.
Anyway,
but yeah, it was just like this movie was what we call geekdom for me, you know?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, when I saw that Corey Feldman was in, I was like, no, you got him back. Yes, both Corys, both of them are awesome. Mm-hmm.
And you know, really, we could technically say this could be some way a direct kind of sequel to The Goonies in some way, in an alternate universe with Corey Feldman playing his character from the Goonies movie, but basically in a different way. You know what I mean?
It didn't have both Corys in it.
Well, no, the Goonies didn't have the other Corey Haim was not in Goonies. No,
but he was in Lost Boys.
Yeah, he was in Lost Boys. And they were in a couple other movies. Yeah, one of them was License to Drive or something like that. And that was a weird.
Yeah.
My favorite scene from The Lost Boys is the bit where the vampires are having them hang under the bridge and they're telling them drop.
Yeah. That was a good scene.
My favorite scene is when they get into the fight with the vampires and they got the two guys throwing that vampire. We're fighting that vampire near the tub. And the dog literally jumps on top of the dog, knocks the guy into the bathtub.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like the contact lenses in this film. It's kind of interesting.
Well, the other part too is this is the first time you've seen a vampire killed by rock and roll. You know?
Yeah,
Rock and roll is like
Death by Stereo.
Death by Stereo. Yeah.
Stereo. It's not the only movie that's ever had death by stereo. I can't remember the title of it. It's just some low budget movie. What with
like, you know who should have been in that scene for that? That should have been Marty McFly, you know?
Oh, that would have been funny. That would have been funny.
Death by Marty McFly. Bam! It was all the same time frame. I mean, in some way, you know? And
late 90s.
And then how they ended with the main bad guy getting that big log go through his body and gets blown up into the fireplace. It was like, yes! What a way to kill a vampire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And all the people to kill him, too, the grandpa.
Yeah. And the grandpa admits there are vampires in the town, and then they just standing there staring. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Is this the first vampire film to utilize the you need to invite a vampire, or was that done before?
That's been done before, I think. But the thing is, yeah, it's been done before from other movies. But I don't remember. Well, how did the other vampires get in the house then, since they weren't invited? You know what I mean?
It just depends on who's writing what.
I don't ever remember anybody saying the part where they invite a vampire in. This is the first time I've heard it in that movie.
No, it was.
It's actually scarier for
1976 is Salem's Lot. You had to invite him into the house.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was a good movie too. Salem's Lot.
I'd say it's scarier if you don't invite them in because the angry video game nerd James Rolfe did do you know what's bull crap? And he did a whole vampire thing, and he's talking about all the weaknesses vampires have, like garlic, sunlight, not being able to invite it in, the mirror. It's like, what's the point? It takes the threat away.
Yeah.
Well, man, I hate to cut it so short, but we're already almost out of 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we will do another episode of something. We'll just have to figure it out in a minute. But what do you? I guess we got another 2 minutes. Let's say one more thing, and that was. This was the first movie to actually Joel Schumacher, which he did the hideous Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame. I mean, that was the only good movie of all the movies he's ever done that was any good. Was this movie? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we might have to debate on Batman Forever. I didn't think that one was too bad. Batman and Robin, yes, definitely. A bad credit card.
Batman Forever was all right.
Golly, can you imagine though if they would have put nipples in the just start showing nipples in the Fright? I mean, in this vampire movie, I'm surprised they didn't do that. You know what I
mean? That credit card is a nod to the nostalgia critic.
Well, anyway, we got less than a minute. Let's give our ratings. We'll start with you, Zach. What do you give it?
An 8. I'll give it an 8.
All right, Ronnie.
I give it a 10. I liked it. It was great.
I give it a 10 out of 10 too. It was just. There was not a boring minute of the whole movie. I mean, you saw some spectacular deaths. And I love the fact where the vampires go down there and rip the hood off that one car and kill the 2 people in the car.
Yeah.
And then you got that whole people around the fire, and they're just killing these people in spectacular ways. It's like, damn, biting their skulls, and you got blood. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide. But anyways, guys. We're going to cut it here, and we will see y'all next time on Fright Night Radio. Let's do this. Check me, sister.